Morning everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Janice and I am a Thermomix consultant. So the people that follow me know that I've been talking about a chocolate choc chip sourdough. So I've tried it and it was okay, it was good. It was a bit stodgy, but I've worked with this recipe a bit now and I'm still doing the same everyday sourdough loaf of bread off of CLERMONT that I've started with. I haven't made any other recipes because I don't want to change things when I'm trying to work out when it's ready to bake, if I've done, if the stretch and fold is good enough. One thing I have learnt is I did one loaf of bread, I did the kneading in my KitchenAid. I just used the Thermomix to weigh everything and I did the kneading in my KitchenAid, and I feel that the Thermomix did a much better job of the kneading. So I've also been talking about my no waste sourdough discard, and this is what I've got. So this morning I've pulled my sourdough discard out of the fridge, and what I did is I needed 300 grams of sourdough discard. So I added to my starter 150 grams of water, 150 grams of flour, mixed it up, and then transferred 300 grams into this bottle. So this is what I'm going to use, and this one here will go back in the fridge now until I'm ready to go again. So I've let that rise and you can see it's quite spongy looking. So I am going to put that in the fridge, and that will just hold its own until I'm ready to go again. So I can probably leave that for till next weekend when I'm going to do another loaf of bread. Okay, so I've left this on here, because this is sourdough discard that has dried out. Now my understanding is if you put this in a plastic bag or in a container, you can rehydrate this with water when you've got enough, and this will help you save your starter. So on the cookie dough, in that sourdough recipe book, it actually tells you to take your starter, spread it out on a sheet and leave it to dry and then crumble. So this here I'm not going to keep, but I am going to do that. Later on this year, I've actually, because for my 60th birthday last year, I shouted myself a European and Great Britain holiday. So that's coming up in July, August this year. And so that's, I'm going to be away for 6.5 weeks. So obviously my sourdough starter is not going to live that long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to freeze some, and I'm also going to dry some. And when I come back, I'll reconstitute them both and I'll see which one works best. Anyway, so today, that's beside the point right here. So today, we're going to do the the chocolate choc chip sourdough. The other thing I've done is I have worked out that cooking the loaf of bread in the cast iron pot works way better. The crust is softer and it doesn't burn. It doesn't get quite so brown. It's still the same heat, but the lid protects it. Rightio, so let's get cracking. I'm going to go into recently cooked, because I haven't got this saved my week, I don't think. And there it is there, everyday sourdough loaf. So I'm going to mix it up. And anyway, let's just go, start cooking. So it says degrease a bowl with olive oil and set aside. I haven't done that yet, but I'll do that in a minute. Now we want 280 grams of filtered water. So I have not been using filtered water, I've just been using tap water. It doesn't seem to be making much difference, but if you're having trouble and you're using tap water, then maybe that's something for you to try. Okay, let's have a quick look. I've just washed that, so I actually knew that clean, 280 grams. Oops. There you go, dead on 280. I don't do that very often. Okay, next, 500 grams of baking powder. Now what I am going to do is I am going to weigh up 500 grams of baking powder, but I'm not going to actually, let's tell you what I'm really going to do. What I'm going to do is, last time I did 8% of the cacao, and it was really, really, really too chocolate. It was delicious, but I just think that it was a bit too much. So I'm going to halve that. I'm going to do 4%. So because this is around a kilo loaf of ingredients, I'm going to use 40 grams of cacao. So this is 500 grams. So I need to do, what's that, 460 grams of flour. That's 460. And then I'm going to do 40 grams of cacao powder. Okay. So 40 grams of this organic cacao powder. I don't know how to pronounce that. I think it's cacao. And make it up to the 500 grams. So if you're going to add chocolate to something, then cocoa or cacao, then you substitute equal quantities of, you remove some of the flour and replace it with cocoa or cacao. You need to work out how much you need. So the chocolate chips, I'm going to, when I stretch it out to shape it into a loaf, I'm going to layer in the chocolate chips then, rightio. 2 teaspoons of salt. And then the 300 grams of the sourdough starter, which is this. And I just love how spongy this is now. I don't know if you'll be able to see this when I pour it. Now, because I've weighed this out before, I know I put the whole lot in. Okay. So one thing I do know is my sourdough is spot on. My starter is spot on. You know, I've worked that out. Now it's just I've got to work on, you know, creating the perfect loaf. I mean, so far I'm getting good loaves, but they're not amazing loaves, and I want to be able to consistently create amazing loaves of bread. Now the trouble is we sort of only eat one loaf of bread a week, sometimes less, and so if within the first couple of days, if it's not going quickly, I slice it and freeze it. So I've actually got quite a few slices of bread in the freezer at the moment, so probably don't need to make. I did make one yesterday, but we ate most of that with our soup, but I probably won't make any more this weekend. Rightio. Next, and now we're going to put the lid on. mix it for 10. The dishwasher is ready to go on, and it's got both my spatulas in it, so I probably need to order another one because 2 is not enough. So now we're going to knead it for 4 minutes. So it says to scrape it down. Oh, it doesn't say to scrape it down, but I am going to scrape it down. It smells delicious. Now I'm going to knead this for 4 minutes. So if there's anyone out there that already makes chocolate sourdough, do you have a favourite recipe you use? And what percentage of cocoa powder do you use in your sourdough? I'd be really interested to hear what other people do, because at the moment I am just working it all out myself. So, rightio, I'll be back after we've finished kneading this. Rightio. So it says to form into a ball, and then I've got my bowl here greased with a bit of olive oil, and I'm going to tip this out on the bench. I probably should have a silicone mat, but I wonder where my dough spatula thing is. Could be anywhere. I don't know where it is. I'll have to find that. Okay. Oops. See, most of it just comes out, all of it's come out of that. Now we're going to just form it up into a ball. Righto. So now I'm going to pop that in the bowl here and put a tea towel over it, and then I am going to leave that to rise for an hour so I can use the timer on the Thermomix. Oops, that's 2 hours. And I'll be back when we're ready to stretch and fold. Right, so we've left that to prove for an hour. And now we've got to do the 4 stretch and folds. So it says to line a baking tray with baking paper and set aside. I mean, it's going to take us 2 hours to do the stretch and folds. So I can't see the point in preheating the oven yet. Then keeping the dough in the bowl, gently stretch and fold dough out and over itself 4 times every 30 minutes. So I found that if the dough sticks to your fingers, I just put a little bit of water on my hands and it stops it from sticking. So just a little bit, not lots. And it also stops it from tearing quite so much. I don't know what the reason is. And then yeah, so that's 4. Now I'm trying not to knock any area. So I did tear that a little bit there on the outside. So I don't know if that matters. Anyway, so I'll be back when I'm ready to stretch it out, and we'll do it the fold with the chopped chips. Right, yeah? So I've got to do that 4 times. So that's number 1. Now I've got 3 more times. So I'll set the timer for half an hour, and then I'll keep going. So I'm going to cover this up and I'll be back. This is, okay, so this is our final stretch and fold. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so that's it there. We have gained some volume, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it out of the bowl and do the stretch and fold, and then I'm going to pull it out into a rectangle and do the layer in the chopped chips. So, oops, I've torn that a bit. I don't know if that matters, but everyone seems to like to have the smooth edges, see? And you can see how much it's tightened up that the dough, because it's not just stretching really easily, it's harder to stretch. I'm just going to dust this with a tiny bit of flour. We don't want lots, but I just want a little bit, like barely enough. And now I'm going to stretch this out into a nice big rectangle. I want it to stick a little bit, but not too much. I don't want to squish it either. I don't want to bust all the bubbles or knock too much air out. That makes sense. So like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oops, don't know if I want all of them in there yet. Let's just do that. Okay. On there. This is 1/4 of a cup. I don't know if I'll put them all in there, but and then just turn that end over and turn that end over. Probably don't need, that's probably all I need. Okay. And then that's that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this onto a piece of baking paper and then we'll let it rise. So as far as I can see, you push it. If it's got to bounce back all the way until you can only just see a little indent, and that means it is proven sufficiently. So rightio, I'm going to put this away, and I'll be back when I'm ready to put it into the cast iron. So when it's getting close, I'll put the cast iron. I'll probably give the cast iron at least half an hour in the oven, heating it up before I'm ready for this to go in. And it can be a bit longer than that because obviously it'll get up to temperature. Rightio. Alright, I'll be back when we're ready to go into the cast iron. Right, so this has actually been proving for an hour now. I'm not going to cook it in this. I'm just proving it in this to try and maintain the shape. But if I push my finger in, hang on, it almost comes back all the way. He will do it like this. So, and it leaves a faint indent. So, I'm going to take that as proved. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this out. Then this is going to, I'm just going to leave it on this paper, and I've got my cast iron in the oven, heating up. And what I'm going to do is I am going to put this in like that, and then just around the edge, under the paper, I'm going to stick some ice cubes to create some steam. I'm going to put the lid on, then pop it back in the oven, and I'm going to cook it for 10 minutes at 250 degrees, and then take the heat back to, let's see, 220, and bake for a further 20 minutes, and we'll see what it looks like. So anyway, so once this comes out of the oven, we'll come back and we'll have another look. I'm ready. So this is really hot. It's just come out of the oven. And I've decided it's cooked because that sounds hollow. So that's had, it's still really hot. That had 10 minutes at 250 degrees. I turned it back to 220 and gave it another 30 minutes, I think, because I didn't think it was quite cooked at 20. So I gave it another 30 minutes. So when this is cold, I'm not going to cut it until it's cold, because they recommend leaving your bread to cool before cutting it, and I definitely feel that it gives you a less gummy texture if you leave your bread to cool completely and release all its steam before you cut it. Rightio? Because it's still all hot inside that crust and it's still cooking. Rightio? We'll be back and we'll cut it in half down the centre and we'll have a look. Rightio? So we're going to cut our bread. This is our chopped chip sourdough, and we're going to chop it in half and see how we went. Not bad. We still haven't got the big holes, but I don't know if that's because I'm just washing my Thermomix up. I don't know if we haven't got the big holes because of the because this is the quick one, you know, like it's using all the starter, or if because I'm still not doing anything wrong. But that is not doughy or gummy at all. That is it feels amazing. Rightio? Oh, hang on. Let's do this. Let's just chop this in half. I don't want a huge piece. We're just about to have dinner. Rightio. So that is super squishy. Delicious. That's really soft. That's not doughy or gummy or... And the crust is really tender. Yum. Rightio? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, could you please give it a thumbs up, pop over to my channel and subscribe. And I really hope I'll see you next time.